After about a month off, the Boiler Breakdown is back, whether we like it or not. Fellas, this is going to be an interesting one for the first Boiler Breakdown of 2020 and the new decade.
Yeah. Do we have to talk about a certain
Pass.
thing that happened?
Pass.
Can we talk about like swimming and diving or something? Or I did see Purdue's wrestling's top 10 ranked in the nation right now.
Wrestling and golf school.
Yep.
Girls golf definitely.
Yeah.
Girls basketball's been playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Men's not so much. But we're gonna get into it here shortly, unfortunately. But the Boiler Breakdown podcast, like it is every week, is brought to you by Schroff Landscaping Nurseries. Contact them today at 574-223-2769 for all of your landscaping needs. Hey, it feels pretty warm out for January right now. Maybe you can get into the landscaping spirit, or at least get your thoughts and ideas going towards the spring. So give them a call. It's never too early to start preparing for your landscaping needs. All right, let's just get right into it. There was a basketball game, I think you can categorize that.
Illinois played a game.
Played Sunday in Champaign. Final score, I don't even remember I know Purdue scored 37 points. What was it, 64?
63.
37? 63-37. Purdue's lowest point total since a game in 1949 against Loyola Chicago.
That honestly surprised me. So I swear, I've seen, I know we've all seen, there's been some games in the Big Ten tournament where we scored 11 points in the first half. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Minnesota. I was like, Purdue had to have scored like 30 points.
I remember there was a game.
I didn't know what year it was, and I didn't want to look it up. I was too
Willie
depressed.
Dean and those guys. I swear we maybe scored like 12 points in the first half, 15 points in the first half. I don't remember, but it surprised me that we didn't score less than 37 in those games.
It was the lowest we've scored in the Big Ten since an 0-4 loss, 40-39 at home to Northwestern.
Did you say a loss of 40-39?
Yeah, to Northwestern back in 04.
Lost by 1?
Yeah.
What did we score against Eastern Michigan a couple years ago?
I thought we scored like 39, but I can look it up.
Wait, yeah. There was a joke about like our football team scored more or something like that.
Right.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Jesus, it was just ugly all across the board. 25% shooting from the field. Leading scorer was Sasha Stevanovic with 8 points. He hit 2 of the team's 3 threes.
Yeah, high school game.
Middle school.
Well, Andrew was lucky. He didn't have the chance to watch the game. He was enjoying himself golfing.
I was on the plane back, unfortunately, at that point.
It's actually really good you didn't watch the game then on the plane.
Yeah, the guy next to me or behind me bought the internet, and he tapped me on the shoulder, and he showed me the score at one point, and it was like 26-8 or something, and I'm like, oh, God.
We were down 11-0.
Yeah, we didn't score for a while.
We landed, and he's like, is that score final? Like, that didn't like freeze? I'm like, nope. I think that says final. They scored 37 points.
We should have known we were in for a long night when Harms took a 3 to start the game and airballed it by like 4 feet.
Yeah, he shot that. I was like, oh no, because it was what I was afraid of. We started both bigs, which I thought that was going to happen just because of Illinois' got Kofi Coburn, which I'm still going to defend that is not how you pronounce his last name, but that's what Illinois says it is. And then whatever the other dude's name is, like I'm not
Georgie
Billy. Yeah, he's regressed.
Yeah, those are big dudes. I figured we'd probably start both. I knew Kofi was a monster. Reminds me a little bit, not as skilled of Bruno Fernando.
I could see a little
bit, just in terms of like the body size and the physicality. Not nearly as good, in my opinion. But he was just a monster. Those guys do really well off of the rebounds. I knew there was an issue early on when it might have been Kofi, but Aaron Wheeler got a defensive rebound and then had it immediately ripped out of his hands. Just kind of a toughness thing that they just set the tone that they were a lot more tough than we were. They're a team that loves to push the ball, and they push the ball, and it doesn't. A good way to stop the push is to make shots, and that's something we just didn't do at all.
Yeah, not seeing any of the game and just looking at the box score. This Alan Griffin, a guard off the bench, had 6 offensive rebounds.
He's been their best player the last few games.
Yeah, as we predicted, I think Illinois came in this game like shooting in the 20% from 3, and they shot well better than 30%.
They shot 46%, I think, from the field.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Purdue to win this game. I thought it was a bad matchup going in.
I did. I thought we were going to win.
Illinois had been shooting 9% in Big Ten play from 3-point range. I thought they would at least hit a couple. And I just not only this game, but a lot of games, even though now I say that now, the Minnesota game last week, a double overtime game was a little different. So I'm going to contradict myself here. I think a lot of games when the other team's physical, Purdue backs down, it seems like this year. They're not near as physical as Purdue teams of the past. Now, Minnesota, they showed a lot of heart and fight. They could have gave up with 2 minutes left. They fought to force overtime, fought in overtime with a double overtime that won the game. So that was yeah. And that brings me to a point that Matt Painter even brought up last night on the Matt Painter radio show. He said he's never seen anything like this during his coaching career of a team that can be so drastic from home to away. Mm-hmm. It's just unbelievable. They're two totally different teams. And unfortunately, to make the tournament, you have to win road games. Mm-hmm. Can't just win home games. And
you have to win a decent home. It's not like you can go on the road. Like, I mean, I feel like we'll probably be favored against Northwestern on the road, but that's not going to get you into the tournament.
I would say that would be the only one of the 8 remaining road games as of right now that Purdue will be favored.
Yeah.
As of right now.
We're going to have to win. We go to Wisconsin.
Yep.
You're going to have to win a game at Wisconsin, a game at Indiana, like those types of games where we're probably going to be, in terms of the standings, hopefully all kind of right there in the middle. I mean, the middle of the Big Ten this year is a lot stronger than it was last year. And, I mean, as we've seen already, especially we saw through the first 2 games in December that, I mean, it's going to be hard to win on the road in the Big Ten. And the way that we are shooting away from Mac, not even on the road, but just away from Mac, even in neutral court games, it's cause for some great concern.
Now, Evan, did you feel like Purdue was getting good looks at least Sunday, or did you feel like they weren't even getting good looks?
And it's what's frustrating this whole year is I feel like, because I've seen people on the boards, which we know the boards is full, or the message is full of the smartest people on earth, and it's the reason why I don't know why they don't all have head coaching jobs somewhere. Blaming the offensive scheme, was Greg Gary, a diamond in the rough type thing. Is Shrewsbury the problem? We were bad last time Shrewsbury was here, and I don't think that's at all. We're getting good looks. We're getting open shots. We're getting to the rim for the most part. We're just not finishing. I think that's just kind of a lack of concentration. I don't know, like a lack of maturity in a way, and the fact that when things aren't going well, just having the right attitude to just kind of keep pushing forward and not letting it affect you. Because the problem with this team is when we don't hit on offense, it affects our defense, which our defense has been the strong part of our team all year for the most part. But when we've struggled against Marquette, against Nebraska, against Illinois, is when we just can't hit shots. Our defense kind of suffers because of that.
Yeah, I thought they were getting good looks too. I argued with our friend who's a big Illinois fan. He thought Illinois wasn't letting Purdue get any looks. He even called it the best game Illinois has played in the Brett Underwood era to date.
I thought we were getting fine looks.
Yeah,
plenty of guys at open shots. I mean,
obviously,
No, Joe have a couple open layups, just missed them, and that's that kind of makes me not worry as much because, like, hey, if we can just finish them, that Illinois game, I don't think our 9 missed layups, whatever it was, is going to be the difference in the game, but. Games like, the Texas game, maybe the Marquette game doesn't get out of hand. Hell, even the Butler game, that could end a little differently if we just hit those bunnies that we hit, you're supposed to hit, 70, 80% of the time. So that's what kind of makes me not as worried is that, hey, if they can just hit those, then we'll be all right. And that could, spur or jumpstart, our shooting or whatever. But then it's also like, man, it's January. Like, we're not in November. We're not hitting them now.
I was going to say, the first few games, I could see that now. We played 15 games. It's kind of
they are who they are.
It kind of is what it is at this point, and that's what's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a hard time watching this team.
I'm the same way. It's not an enjoyable Purdue team to watch by any means. On the road, at least. They do play hard on defense, but
yeah,
like just the heart and hustle wasn't there on Sunday. I mean, they let Illinois get so many easy offensive rebounds and second chance points and just things, so many dumb little mistakes. It's just frustrating because like I brought up last night on my other podcast, a lot of people, non-Purdue fans at least, forget that Carson Edwards struggled really bad last year scoring the ball in January and February. Yet Purdue won a lot of games and ended up winning, were co-Big Ten champions. And a lot of these guys were the reason. That's what makes it frustrating. It's like, what has happened to a lot of these guys?
I think a lot of that, too, could be contributed to someone like Grady Eifert, who like Carson was just a bulldog in just a little different way.
Sure.
That he just was not going to let someone, outwork him to get a rebound or to a loose ball. And, Klein kind of stepped up. And I think those other guys just kind of fed off that. And the problem with this, as we've kind of seen all year, is we haven't really seen anyone step up. I think Nogel tried to do that on Sunday. And aside from him blowing a ton of layups, I really liked what I saw out of him. Because
Made 2 free throws.
Yeah.
Back to back. Back to back.
Something we hadn't really seen all year, aside from maybe the Ohio game, was just of him being aggressive and going to the rim.
Yeah.
And I think if we can continue to do that, hopefully I don't know. I just feel like we just need someone to. I mean, him and Matt Harms are the leaders, and I was really disappointed with Harms. I know Harms even said he was disappointed in himself, but we've seen that a couple times when he's gone against much bigger, much more physical guys. I don't know, maybe it was something like he was worried with the concussion of, that was playing in his head. Who knows?
In fact, I'm against Minnesota, who's a physical team.
Yeah.
He had a career night. So
yeah, I don't know. It's just something we're just kind of lacking that. We've seen people talk about just that alpha dog.
Yeah, we're missing somebody's got to step up. And Sasha's great at home. He was the leading scorer with 8 the other night, but he's not the same on the road.
To the point where he was taking most of the shots. I was actually fine with. I mean, like if he's going to – if I'm confident anyone to shoot right now, it's him and Hunter. I'd like to see Hunter shoot a little bit more, but
I was just curious on that home and away splits. On Sasha is shooting 52%, 51.7 from 3 from home, 27% on the road.
See, it's things like that that's just like mind-boggling. It's like, wow. I'll tell you somebody.
He's had some bad misses on the road too.
I'll tell you somebody who's not gun shy is Isaiah Thompson. He comes in, he wants the ball and he shoots. I think it probably drives Matt nuts at times. It's probably quicker shots than he looks, but I don't know. I feel like he's another one. If he could hit a couple in a row, he could really get going.
Yeah.
Because Proctor can't find it right now.
He's another one I'd like to see drive board because he has that big body where someone like Hunter and Isaiah, they're going to get thrown around like a rag doll in the big.
Hunter finishes at least sometimes in traffic. Sometimes.
Yeah. I like Hunter a lot, but that's where he's definitely stepped up.
Yeah, I think he's the one who's improved. I think the most. That's the most obvious from first year to second year, while Wheeler has done a polar opposite.
He can't. He needs to drive. Yeah. He's just shooting threes, and he's not.
I think he's too soft.
Yeah,
and that's what's missing all the bunnies. They're just soft inside, and they're not aggressive.
Yeah, and I think with Wheeler, he doesn't have the best handles.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he's that long, lanky body, and just doesn't have.
It's hard to keep it under control and tight when you're 6'11" and have huge long limbs and exactly. I mean, it's
and I think that's where because I'd like to see him drive too, but he just doesn't have that kind of that. Physicality to him, where someone like Vince Edwards, he wasn't as big, but at least he had some meat on him where he could control the ball and get to the rim and at least get fouled and go to the line, if anything. But Wheeler, I think it's just just doesn't have that aggressive right now. I think he can, but I don't know.
And then Travion got 2 quick fouls in the first half, and he was on the bench.
I was not surprised at all.
Nah, he can't. He's foot speed just on defense. That was a tough matchup with him and Coburn. But, just frustrating. I mean, I didn't expect to get blown out by any means. I am looking forward to playing those guys again on January 21st at home. So this is a team Purdue had beat 14 out of the last 18 matchups. And Purdue hasn't lost to him in Mackey since 2008. So we'll see in a couple weeks. But it is a bad matchup for Purdue.
A lot of layups in that game too, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. It is a bad matchup for Purdue, but we'll see. I thought Nogel did a pretty good job on Io DeSumo, at least. Yeah,
it's weird because they have him and Frazier, and they're both really good guards. But they don't shoot a ton for a team that has some good guards.
Well, Frazier shoots a lot. He just doesn't make many now.
Yeah.
He hit a couple the other day, but they had guys like Kipper Nichols hit a couple. He doesn't usually hit those. But they pretty much got whatever they wanted. It was just frustrating. And actually, I thought Purdue played decent defense.
Yeah.
It's just the offense was that bad. Like you mentioned to me the other day, Illinois kept getting in transition. And when you're missing shots and you can't rebound, other teams get out in transition, it's hard to stop.
Yeah. I mean, you held them 63 points. That's, I mean, in the Big Ten, we're going to have to win games, 65, 63 type. We're not last year. We're going to, hang 90 on a team unless we go to 8 overtimes.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have Carson out there to score 40 or something.
It was
That's another thing I saw was like 2 years ago, Carson hung 40 on Illinois. We scored 37.
It's just
That was when Frazier and Carson went back to back to back basically. Yeah.
Vince was out that game with a sprained ankle.
Yep.
So that was one of the worst, if not the worst, Purdue performance I've ever seen. So it was pitiful.
We said we were going to go on this one quickly.
I turned it off with 6 minutes left in the game. I did not finish watching. But I guess the last thing I'm going to say, the frustrating part is, and I've heard some people complain about this, and I kind of agree it's frustrating. We're coming off a Elite 8 run, which we are eyelash away from the Final Four. Kind of finally got some national recognition.
You want to talk about that game too? I mean, while we're on it.
No, I don't feel like I'm below the belt right now. But, we were close, had some national recognition, have some recruiting momentum going, and then to have a season so far like this, it does make it pretty tough. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the future holds. I mean, next year it looks like we got 5 pretty promising guys that are going to be freshmen, but
I'm not too worried about the losing. I mean, I guess you lose a bit of the national recognition momentum, but I mean,
fans have sold out every game,
right?
I mean, even though Sunday's not a sellout yet, which is really surprising. There's still tickets available. Yeah,
I'm sure Michigan State fans will gobble those up.
I don't think there's many, but there. I mean, I was on PurdueSports.com earlier today. There's some available. So.
I'm not too worried. I mean, I think it's one of those things. I mean, we lost an All-American. We lost the guy who had the best assist to turnover ratio in Purdue history, and then you just had another guy in Grady Efford who was just as we said, a bulldog. And we're not a team like Duke or North Carolina or those teams, which I mean, North Carolina's struggling right now too.
Yeah, you see Roy Williams' comments on that team that made headlines today. He said it's his least favorite team he's ever coached. The least talented team he's ever had. I mean, he was just throwing his team under the bus. I'm like, if I'm a player on that team, I don't want to play the rest of the season.
I'm leaving. See ya.
Yeah. That was interesting. It was ESPN headlines and stuff.
It's one of those things where rebuilds or a little setback is probably going to happen every couple of years. I mean, we saw it after the baby boilers. Now, hopefully, this is not to the extent that was. And I think that was more of Matt getting away from who he was, and he learned his lesson the first time. I think it's just more of just a lot of guys just don't know what it actually took.
Yep.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, and I've never played a minute of Division 1.
We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. We're just 3 fans that give our perspective.
Yeah.
And maybe it's mental. I mean, maybe it's just they played, like we said, 15 games of watching shots not go in from 4 feet away.
Yeah,
right.
And then it's just like I'm sure. I feel like that's what had to have happened to Nogel. I mean,
he didn't have these problems the last 2 years.
No, I mean he took 1 shot against like Minnesota or something. Or the game before that, she had 0 for 1. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't know.
He was awesome on defense that game.
Yeah, that's what's good. I mean, the effort, and that's what the effort and the rebounding has been good on defense, and most of the time it's just been, is this team going to make anything in the lane or not?
It'll be interesting. They start a gauntlet of 3 games here Thursday night when they play at Michigan, who I believe is ranked 18th or 19th. It's at the Chrysler Center, 6:30, Fox Sports 1 game. We'll see what kind of heart and effort they can put into that one. All-time series with Michigan since 1949, 1950. Purdue leads 65-59. Purdue has lost the last 2 meetings, including the trip to Ann Arbor last year, 76-57. That was one of the 2 early Big Ten games last year. Then they return home to face Michigan State on Sunday. National CBS game at noon. The only CBS game Purdue has this year. The only time they play Michigan State this year. Purdue beat them last year, and Mackey, the last time they played, 73-63. Purdue also leads the all-time series 66-55. I would take a split in a heartbeat right now.
Absolutely. Don't care which one. I'd rather have probably Michigan State just because it's a home game. And I'm going to be there, so I'd rather see us win.
And I hate Michigan State.
Yeah.
Emily Call sucks, but
how big of a boo is that going to be?
Does he start?
Huh?
Does he start?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
Okay. So
I don't think so.
He won't get booed like Cisco from Virginia then. Diacate, he got booed pretty big.
He'll get booed though when he checks in for the first time.
Sure.
There'll be enough people who remember that name.
I don't know if it'll be Brandon Dawson like, but it'll be.
I don't think so. No,
he'll still be booed pretty heavily. So, or Jaron Jackson Jr. I think he's booed pretty heavily too.
Yeah,
they've had a lot of guys that get booed pretty heavily.
Gary Harris.
Yeah, that was
kind of
Purdue's fault. Purdue got in the mix there late, but still would have been nice. Of course, he's a stud for the Nuggets. But honestly, I would take even one out of the next 3 games. The game after that's next Saturday at Maryland. Purdue's off during the week next week. I would take 1 of 3. Before the Illinois game, I'd be happy. I was happy with going 2-2 during the 4-game stretch. Kind of dug ourselves in the hole there. But we'll see. It's if the guys don't come out fired up Thursday or, with some enthusiasm, which I did think they came out with in the second half against Illinois. I thought they came out fired up, playing hard. The announcers even made a comment on that, but it didn't matter. If they don't come out with some effort and some heart on Thursday, it's going to tell a lot.
Just like last year. It's going to be just like last year. We got run out of the building, which that was, again, before kind of our turnaround, obviously. But, yeah, it's going to tell a lot if we come out and just kind of – they come out and punch us in the mouth, and then we kind of just whimper and kind of go back into our fetal position.
We've had a lot of battles with a lot of these Michigan guys. Teskey, Xavier Simpson, Livers.
Oh, my gosh. They're all still there.
Yeah. And you got Little Wagner there now, Mo's little brother. So they're a good team, good talented team. It's going to be a tough task, but that will be the first time out of the 2 meetings that Purdue plays Michigan this year. Do get them at home later on. So before we get into some football news, I did jot down since this is the first 2020 episode of the Boiler Breakdown, I jotted down the all-decade team from Gold and Black Illustrated. I got the all offensive team and all defensive team and special teams for football. On offense, quarterback, no argument out of me here. David Blau is the quarterback of the all-decade team. I think the only other one, I'd say Elijah's probably number 2.
Yeah.
Did they have just one person per position?
Yeah. Okay. There was like 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. It just mattered what position. But
I'd probably put Elijah too, just because of those 4 games in 2017.
Number 3 is it Marv or Turbush?
Marv, just because I don't like Bush. So.
Yeah.
When was Joey Elliott?
He was 09, so he was not in the decade. So it was incredible to look at the 10 different quarterbacks of the decade. Yeah, 10, because Purdue's been so injured.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Turbush got through the 2011 season, starting every game. He's the only quarterback that's done that.
Who was our first quarterback to start like back-to-back openers? Was there any quarterback that started back-to-back openers in that decade?
Elijah.
Yeah.
Started Northwestern last year.
And then this year.
Yeah.
That was the only one. Because I know like Hazel, I don't – with like –
because he had
Appleby,
Etling, then Appleby, then Blau.
Uh-huh.
Elijah,
Yep. Because Turbush was 11, and then in 12, Turbush was suspended the Eastern Kentucky game, and Robert started instead. Yep.
Henry started against Cincinnati in 2013.
Yep. 2010 was Marv.
Sounds like a good decade for Purdue football.
2014 was that Etling?
Yep. And then Appleby.
And 15 against Marshall.
Then Blau against Western Michigan, I think. 16. Sounds right. No, we started the season 14 against Western Michigan. My fault. 16 was the last Hazel year. Nevada?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't really care. I try to put that air out of my head. Anyways, running backs, 2 of them, Akeem Hunt and Markel Jones. Any arguments there?
How
about DJ Knox? No love for DJ Knox?
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised Marco Jenks. I feel like
he started out
freshman year.
Yeah.
He had better career stats, but
just because because he got a lot of play all pretty much early on in his career, and then he finished off pretty well. But
and then once DJ kind of came to the picture, they obviously split. Then Markel always played well against Indiana.
Yep.
Your guess is go ahead.
I was just I'm trying to remember much of the key. I'm trying to maybe just black out that entire coaching staff. I know Tanner, you and I were talking with another friend of ours. They were wondering with the absence of maybe Mostert, but again, Mostert was a special teams guy and
they misused him really bad
already than he ever had at Purdue.
They started him out wide receiver, and from my time as a manager, I can tell you he had trouble running routes as a wide receiver, and then at running back he had trouble fumbling. So he fumbled a lot. So it was just But I'm glad to see him playing so well for the Niners. Really good guy.
Yeah.
David Blount started in 2016 against Nevada. We won 24-14.
There we go. Wide receivers. Can you guess the two wide receivers that are on the list?
Yeah, Rondell Moore and David Bell.
Not David Bell. I can argue that he should be, but
and Tavian Edison.
No, but he's that's a good one.
I don't even remember him.
He was pretty solid.
So 2009 to is it
Justin Siller?
No.
Heisman.
You're missing a guy that was solid on a lot of bad teams, except
D'Angelo Yancey.
There you go.
Okay, I was gonna say Danny Anthrop.
Except his sophomore year, D'Angelo only had one touchdown, like 33 catches, but his freshman, junior, senior, he was pretty darn good.
Got drafted by the
I know his senior year. Yeah.
Yep. Tight end. One tight end.
Bryson Hopkins.
Yep.
Yep.
And can you name me 5 offensive linemen?
Nope.
Was
hold on. Center Kirk Barron.
Yep.
Kirk Barron.
Yep.
Hermans. No.
All these other guys.
At
least made practice squad in the NFL one time.
Yeah.
At least.
Wow, I'm blanking on their names.
Maybe no, I have no idea.
God, what are their names?
One's still in the NFL right now. He's in the playoffs right now.
Yeah,
the tackle.
Dennis
Kelly.
Yep. Dennis Kelly.
I didn't know it. What year did he play? I felt like he was a long time ago.
From 08 through 2011 was his senior year.
Okay.
Yep.
He complimented my freshman year English project.
I remember that story, Webby.
I forgot about. Sorry, Dennis. Oh God.
Who was the transfer, the JUCO, who came in for a couple years? He's committed to Michigan State, I think, before Purdue. He's from like the Netherlands or something like that. I thought he was pretty solid.
Wasn't him.
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember it. He was big.
What was his name?
We got Kevin Pamphile.
All these guys, I feel like these were like 15 years ago.
See, the interesting thing, Kevin, I think he's still in the NFL. He was back for the Buccaneers for a while.
Yeah, he was with the Bucs for a while.
Titans maybe too.
I swear, wasn't he a defensive tackle
for 2 years? For 2 years, then they switched him, and he started offensive line for 2 years and got drafted. And that's how athletic he was.
I don't remember him playing offensive line at Purdue. I do remember he got drafted as an offensive line, and I thought he was a defensive tackle that got drafted as an offensive line.
He switched either in 11 or 12, one of those years, to offensive line. Jason King at guard. He was on the Patriots practice squad for a while, and then Jordan Roos, who was on the Seattle Seahawks.
I could not think of.
So
I picture them.
They came in together. They were best buds. They were tough guards. So I mean, not the greatest, but you do have a lot of pros in there. And Kirk Barron's an XFLer that starts soon. So
XFL. That sounds pretty intriguing with what these rules are coming out with.
Double forward pass.
Yep.
Double. I have not seen any of this.
Andrew Luck's dad, Oliver Luck's the CEO of the league, and he said everything's gonna be fast paced. So
fast paced, no ties. I think it's like overtime's like a shootout, like hockey style.
We'll see. I'll watch it week 1, see what
everybody watch it week 1, and then want to watch it ever again.
Yeah. And then on defense, I will tell you there was no Ryan Kerrigan.
What?
Yeah, he played in Dean Hart.
2010.
Dean Hart said 1 year was not enough to put him on. I know. He was an All-American. He was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year in 2010. He did not put him on the list.
I didn't remember that part.
Kawan Short.
He's defensive tackle.
So
you also have one more D tackle and 2 D ends.
Bruce Gaston, Lorenzo Neal. I don't.
No. This guy was a stud.
D tackle.
But easy to forget about though.
Because he was on the team that went 1-11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the DNs, one had a short career in the NFL. The other one, I think, maybe XFL. Maybe. I think. Practice
Is
squad.
one of the ends Robinson?
Nope. He is XFL, though.
Other D tackle.
I'll give you guys another minute.
A minute.
Did you get this one, Tanner?
No, I actually forgot about the D tackle. One of the DNs I would have got. The other one I wouldn't have.
The D tackle, when did he play?
It was the Hazel era.
Just the Hazel era?
Yeah.
Did Danny Hope recruit him?
It's a good question. Not sure.
Is he in the NFL right now?
No. Jake Rapogel.
Oh my God!
He went to the NFL and he had concussion, so he's
I remember he got hurt.
He was
oh my gosh!
Awesome.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's bad.
And their defensive ends are Ryan Russell
and
Danny Izuchukwu. Which I thought he was kind of more of a linebacker, but three linebackers. You should get two of these.
Bailey, Juwan Bentley.
Yeah.
This other one I had to think about, but I can't argue against this other one. He was a solid linebacker.
When did he play?
Hope era.
Sean Robinson.
In 1 year of the Tiller era.
He was not.
Chase. Dwayne Beckford?
Nope.
That's a name I haven't heard in forever.
Yeah.
1 year, the Hope era, and then through the Hazel era. God, I just don't remember Hazel era teams aside from like a few offensive.
He's a dentist now.
Oh, yeah. He was really a player. Oh my God. Joe Holland.
Joe Holland. Yep.
Yeah.
I see. Exactly. The pre-Hazel era seems like 15, 20 years ago. It seems like so long ago.
And I remember it just because I was around some of those guys, but I could understand, it does seem like a while.
Joe Holland was good. I like Joe Holland.
He was a tackling machine.
Yeah.
Gave it his all. I mean, he was a really nice guy, too.
Ben Holt reminded me a lot of him.
That's a good comparison. And then for defensive backs, you got four of them, even though he put one of them at the wrong position.
Oh, fun. Ricardo Allen.
Yeah, he put him at safety. That's what he plays now.
In the NFL,
and he got recruited to be a safety, but he was a all Big Ten corner.
Yeah.
He was second all time in Purdue interceptions. So, I mean, he needs to be on the list, but he should have been a corner.
Interesting.
So he's got four corners and then two safeties?
No, he got one more safety and two corners to go.
Oh, okay. So four total.
I would have got these two corners, but I wouldn't have got this other safety.
Safety Thieneman?
Nope. Almost. He said almost, but no. I would have put Thieneman probably over this guy, though.
The corners. I'm trying to think of the corners.
The corners were Hope/Hazel era, both of them.
Yeah. Frankie Williams.
Frankie Williams, who's having a really good CFL career going on right now.
Yeah.
And the other guys currently in the NFL.
Oh, he played Brown. Brown for the Cowboys.
Anthony Brown.
Anthony Brown.
And then your other safety.
I was thinking of Anthony Brown, but I said Frankie Williams first.
Your other safety is not in the NFL.
When did he play?
Hazel.
Hazel Slat. I don't know if he played 1 year under Brom or not. He might have.
A safety? What does it say? Does it say like what safety position, or does it just say safety?
It just said safety. I think he was a strong safety, if I remember right. He was. I believe he's a junior college. I think. I just don't remember him that much.
I don't know.
Leroy Clark.
No, I would not have gotten that in 30.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was JUCO because I
just.
Yeah, he actually had surprisingly some good statistics his senior year. And then special teamers, you got kicker, punter, kick returner, punt returner.
Joe Shopper, punter.
No.
What?
Nope. He was your other favorite punter. This guy was the punter of the year in the Big Ten in 2012 or 13, and he was a second team All Big Ten his freshman.
Was he the baseball player? Was he the guy who played
a
baseball?
little baseball. Lefty punter from Pennsylvania. He's a cop now.
I'm gonna kick myself.
Cody Webster.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah,
There's a cop now.
I remember that when we had that game when we beat Northwestern, he had like a 69 or 70-yard punt that game.
I forgot about him.
He could boom the ball.
Yeah,
So
he could.
kicker, returner, punt returner.
Kicker.
Carson Wiggs.
Carson Wiggs, your kicker.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Did you say kicker, returner? What?
You got 2 returners now.
It's one kick returner.
Yep.
Ron Moore.
And Tavian Edison.
Nope.
Oh, didn't he? Or Valentine? Aaron Valentine?
He was not
returned one.
He was not in this deck.
But he did.
Okay.
He has returned.
I'm so off.
Yeah. I don't even remember this guy really returning too many punts.
Keem Hunt.
Keem Hunt was your kick returner over Mostert. I was surprised by that, to be honest, even though they both returned kicks for touchdowns. So this guy was a solid punt returner as far as just catching the ball, but I don't ever remember him breaking one.
Anthrop.
No. Good guess, though.
One of them.
Ricardo Allen.
I do not remember him returning.
I don't remember him at all.
And then got the basketball team to go through real quick.
This is fun. This is a fun decade.
Newbert did 5 players for each team. He did a first team, second team, and a third team. And then he did an all defensive team with a bench. Start with first team. Who do you think is the 5 players he put for the first team?
Okay, now before we start, did he? I don't know. Okay, those guys played. Never mind. Etwan Moore.
Yep.
Juwan Johnson.
Juwan.
Yep.
Robbie Hummel.
Yep.
Carson Edwards.
Yep.
Caleb Swanigan.
Yep. Can't argue on any of those.
Nope.
Yeah.
After that, the second and third team, you could probably argue a little bit, but second team.
Vince Edwards.
Yes.
Isaac Haas.
Yes.
AJ Hammond.
To which?
Both. AJ and Isaac, both.
Okay.
Both second team.
Yep.
That's a big team.
So you got 2 guards now.
So we have
Chris Kramer.
Chris Kramer, even though he barely played in a decade,
Yeah.
he was second team. Good interview with him today on Golden Black. Go check it out if you're a big Kramer fan.
So we got Kramer, Edwards, Haas, and Hammonds.
Yep.
And this is one more guard.
Yep.
Klein.
Nope.
Matthias.
Good guess though. Who?
Matthias.
Yeah. Midwestern Cowboy. Then your third team.
Tearing up the G League.
Yes, he is. He is. Your third team. Who did you just say, Andrew?
Ryan Klein.
He's on your third team.
I kind of forgot about Matthias, but yeah.
Was PJ on 13?
He was not. That's one of the ones that you could probably make a discussion for.
Is there anybody on the current roster on this team? Okay.
Nope. This is a tough one.
Okay. So
You put Eifert on there?
No.
So we
I
only
didn't think
got
so.
Klein on there.
You're
Raphael
missing
Davis?
what?
Raphael Davis.
Oh, yeah.
All these other 3 guys were guards.
All guards. Okay.
They
So
might
no
have.
bigs,
few-
huh?
Lou Jack.
Yep. Lewis Jackson.
Little speedster. Keaton Grant.
Keaton
Grant.
Grant.
Yep. I think one of the more underappreciated players in
Uh-huh.
Purdue history. And one more guy.
A guard.
Hmm?
Tyrone Johnson.
There you go.
Boom.
Over 1,000 points career score.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
like Tyrone. A lot of people hate him. I liked him. I hate his brother, but I like Tyrone a lot.
all defense. Can you give me 5 guys?
Kramer.
Yep.
Hammonds.
Hammonds.
Johnson.
Who?
Juwan Johnson.
Yep.
Okay, so hold on. We got Kramer,
Davis.
Hammonds, Johnson.
You're missing one.
No gel.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Then your bench, he gave 5 bench guys.
For the defense.
Harms.
Oh, I'm sorry. AJ was on the bench. I'm sorry. Harms
Oh.
was on the all defense. I read that wrong.
Really?
Yeah, even though AJ was a
on
Big
the
Ten,
bench?
he was a Big Ten defensive player, but he's on the bench.
Interesting.
He has Harms over him.
Hold on. He did not have Dakota on the all defensive team.
He's on the bench. Who do you replace? Do you put him over Eastern or Kramer?
That's true.
I might put him over Eastern.
I'm going
maybe.
over Eastern.
I don't put him over Kramer or Davis.
Hell no.
So you got 3 other guys.
Wait, so
on
who's
the
on the
bench.
bench?
AJ
Three others.
I
Hammonds
wholeheartedly
and
disagree
Dakota.
with it.
Okay.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't remember any of these. I mean, now looking back, they're solid, but I don't know.
Like Lou Jack or somebody.
Next one,
I guess he was quick. I mean, I guess he.
Yeah, I was just saying. I just imagine him being quick and
Yeah,
all over
Etwan
somebody.
on there?
Yeah.
No Etwan. No.
DJ Bird.
Nope.
Anybody from like that 2012, 2013, 2014. I mean, obviously, we already covered Hammonds, but
12, 13, 14,
15,
15, 16.
One's played recently. One was a while back.
Wait, they only had one left.
We have 2.
Okay.
A while back.
Keaton Grant. I don't know.
Yep.
He was long. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That surprised me. And then there's other guys more recent.
More recent. When did he graduate?
2 years ago.
Vince Edwards?
No.
Oh, wait.
PJ? I
Yep.
don't know.
PJ Thompson.
There?
Yep.
Huh.
That's your all-decade team. So, not too many arguments.
No, that first team.
But I thought it was interesting to go back.
That first team play together.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the exact team that was that March Madness when they had that whole March Madness bracket where we lost to Kentucky? Wasn't that team of Robbie, Etuan, Hummel, Swanigan, and Carson?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. There's no argument there out of me. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of fun to go over. Now some Purdue football news that we haven't hit on since we haven't recorded since December 17th. Purdue has filled the void for defensive coordinator in Bob Diaco. That name might sound familiar to a lot of fans out there, especially if they watched Notre Dame from 2010 through 13. He was their defensive coordinator. He was the coordinator of the year in the nation in 2012 when Notre Dame was runner-up to Alabama with Monte Te'o and all those guys. So a decently big name. He was the head coach at UConn for a couple of years. Didn't do that well there, but who does? And then he went to Nebraska for a year, was the defense coordinator there in 2017. Their fans didn't like him there, but he only got 1 year of his 2-year contract there. In 2018, he was the linebacker coach for Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley. And then last year, he was defense coordinator at Louisiana Tech, who shut out Miami, Florida in the bowl game. And they had one of the best red zone defenses in the nation and one of the best scoring defenses in the nation. So, at first I was like, I don't know about it. But the more I read, I kind of like it. We got to trust Braum. In this case, this is a huge, important decision for his Purdue tenure. At least he got a guy who's familiar with coaching and recruiting in the Midwest a little bit.
I'm familiar with some of the coaches because his defensive coordinator was Anthony Poindexter.
That's a good point. Yeah. Very good point.
They've worked together, I'm sure.
Yep.
And it's kind of excuse me. I know I was just reading online. It was kind of a big season for Purdue. So it's okay. You don't want to get not sure. You want to go with like an up and comer who's not experienced. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd call him like a big name, but I mean, he's a bigger name. He's had some good jobs. I mean,
he was a big name when he was at Notre Dame.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, he's got good experience. I mean, he's kind of a bigger name. Yeah. I didn't know. I mean, they said that he had a hell of a career there.
He's also a defense coordinator at Cincinnati under Kelly before Notre Dame.
Gotcha.
So he typically runs a 3-4, but he's known to run a defense that fits his players. So.
I would do with a 3-4.
I don't think I don't think he's like in love with it. I don't know. I thought they said that even at Louisiana Tech, like, yeah, they had a 3-4, but then they were definitely not in that the whole time. It's multi-front. So I don't think Braum will. I mean, Braum's pretty innovative and does a lot of things and kind of uses personnel. I'm assuming he's going to hire a coach who's like that, who's going to say, okay, this personnel we have may not fit a 3-4, so we're going to run something else.
Yeah, and I'm guessing – because I got the feeling this past year that Braum was not happy with the non-aggressiveness at times of the defense. I'm guessing Diaco's defense is going to be pretty darn aggressive.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm excited to hopefully see that.
It's interesting. He doesn't have a Twitter. He's like the only coach that doesn't have one on our staff. I don't know if he'll eventually get one. But from watching
some like Brady Braum will make him one or something.
And watching him on YouTube, he's a different dude. He's out there a little bit.
Is one way to describe him.
He's out there a little bit, but that might not necessarily be a bad thing. We'll see. I know Nebraska fans are already chalking up week 1 as a win. Right when we hired him, that's fine.
I keep thinking that.
Yep.
Yeah, my friend Ryan, who's a Nebraska fan, I asked him, and he just laughed and said, "Good luck." And I don't know. I mean, the coach they had before for us was didn't have a whole lot of discipline with the players, and that's kind of, I think, as you hear Scott Frost talk about it now, about how he kind of rips his players. So
I will say, last time we hired somebody that previously had coached defense at Nebraska, and Ross Ells in 2016, it didn't go very well. But that was what part of the coaching staff went well during the Darrell Hazel era. So.
Yeah,
remember
who was the coordinator before? I don't know, Tim Tibesar.
Yeah, he was Danny Hope's second year.
Okay, he came from like the CFL or something like that.
He did. He wasn't good.
I remember when they hired him, it's like, oh, you come from the CFL, where his teams were giving up 58 points a game or something. I'm like, what?
That might be a little exaggerated, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. You can go fact check it down.
I am.
Before that, it was Gary Emanuel, and he was a defensive line coach for the Colts not too long ago. But yeah, Purdue's went through a lot of defense coordinators, so I'm trusting Braum here. I thought there might be a few more staff changes, but at this point, I don't think there's going to be this late in the game.
The only way is if, one of these smaller schools or whatever,
sure,
for their coach, at the midnight hour or whatever, and some of these guys get an offer. But yeah, I can't. I think the staff we've got right now is pretty locked in together. I know Brian talked about it where, hey, if we're trying to convince these kids to turn down these bigger bigger football schools like Ohio State, Alabama, all those schools, we've got to do the same.
Sure. Yep. And it sounds like they're already hitting the 2021 class pretty hard, according to Coach Aaron Hodges, on Twitter. So, yeah, it's still exciting. I mean, football's a long ways away, but it's nice to kind of take our mind off of what's going on in basketball. And you might have saw the title of this podcast. I titled it "Is One Brick Higher Coming Back?" That was a reference to Darrell Hazel's one brick higher, and we've been shooting so many bricks lately in basketball. Just kind of trying to make a pun off of it. But.
Yeah. Well, speaking of basketball, Big Ten wise, with about 3.5 minutes to go in College Park. Is that Maryland?
Yeah.
Yeah, Maryland's up 57-48 on Ohio State.
Ohio State's frauds.
Yeah.
They're good. They're talented.
Chris Holtman, I hate you.
Hope they win on Saturday, though.
Yeah. I don't know, though. But
I don't know.
I mean, that's their third conference loss already, right? If they lose to Maryland.
Let's see here.
Yes, they're 1-2 in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, Maryland's undefeated at home.
And then out in Piscataway, you've got Rutgers up by 8 with 3.5 minutes to go, 62-54 on number 20 Penn State.
When was the last time?
They're without Geo Baker right now, too. He's hurt. Their best player.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he hurt his hand. He's out for a while, and they're winning games. They're for real. I thought they were a bunch of.
What world are we living in where Penn State and Rutgers are projected to be in the tournament and Purdue is not? I
wasn't going to bring that up, but hey, Joe Lenardi does have Purdue's a 10 seed today.
Playing who?
I don't know. I don't care. Would you guys take a 10-10 Big Ten record right now?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
I think that's about what they got to go to get in.
Do you think we have to go? If we go 10-10, do you think we have to win any games in the tournament?
Maybe one.
That'd be what? 18 wins?
Yeah. That'd be right there. But Purdue might, if they're a real bubble team, they might get a nod from the selection just from the past success.
Yeah.
Oh, plus everybody loves Painter because Painter's had such a track record at Purdue and has been
running clean,
consistent. Yeah.
And our non-conference wasn't that bad. We had some decent non-conference wins. Let's see here.
Virginia.
Oh my God. How's this playing Texas Tech?
That's fun.
Of course.
Do not take it right now. Just get in. At this point, we just got our doors blown off by freaking Illinois.
Also, January 7th.
We have the same record right now we had last year.
Talking about what world we live in. So we're the 10 playing the 7, Texas Tech, playing the winner of number 15 seed North Dakota State, number 2 seed San Diego State in Sacramento.
Who's he have as 1 seeds there in that bracket, Webby?
Does he have Butler as a 1?
He does.
Are you kidding me? No, they're really, really good. Thanks, Andrew. You told me they're going to be bad this year. And
I did. I was so wrong.
Butler playing St. Louis.
No, it's better them than 2 other teams in Indiana. So. Yeah. I'm throwing Notre Dame in there too. I don't want them to be good. So that was the football news, coaching wise. I guess there is another program today that coaching news that could affect Purdue maybe. Matt Rule, Baylor's coach, signed a 7-year, $70 million deal to be the next coach of the Carolina Panthers. And Malik Hornsby, who was going to commit at the All-American game last Sunday, decided he's going to hold off till signing day in February. Maybe he knew that was coming. Arkansas is making a late push at him. Purdue's in the mix. We'll see.
I would think I thought that it was kind of the while that everybody thought Baylor and Purdue, I guess like Oregon, but Oregon has a couple already highly ranked. The fact that he pushed it doesn't make me feel real good about Purdue because that makes me think that it was Baylor and now he's like, okay, I want to check something else out. So he's not.
The fact that he also mentioned there was an interview on Rivals that he mentioned the cold again.
Yeah, he's every time.
I'm like, this kid's not coming.
and he came in the game he visited was the Purdue, Illinois when it was cold and rainy and just miserable.
Yeah, and you got to look at it. Michael Limo's already in the class. Plummer's only going to be a redshirt sophomore if he's the guy.
O'Connell. O'Connell's
will be a junior. But I don't know. It sounds like Purdue's still active, maybe going after transfer quarterbacks, but I haven't heard anything lately. So
after watching this year, Brahms probably just give me someone with experience, just in case, because right now he's got 2 guys that have 4 starts or something, right? 5 starts. How many starts do they have?
About experience also just to push those guys too.
Competition's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. And they're going to try to get some more recruits to wrap up this recruiting class here come February. So I think they're going to be a little more active this signing day than in February than they have been the past few years.
An offensive lineman.
Exciting. Yep. I would love to have this class jump into the top 25 in all the rankings. That'd be great. So, any other closing thoughts? I see, Andrew, your wife has a comment here. Of course, Butler is a 1. I can't say anything.
Nope.
I got no room to talk. Be nice. Any closing thoughts?
Can we be done with the Crossroads Classic
next year? Can we be done with basketball season?
I'm honest. I know you guys. I know Andrew. You've mentioned how you don't really like this team. I actually enjoy this team.
Man,
a
lot of likable guys. And
I do.
Guys are just.
I don't have a problem with any of the players. They're just painful to watch on offense.
They are. They make my eyes bleed on offense.
For how good of the offense moved and everything the last few years, and then even at times this year, when they make shots, the offense looks good. But that's probably how everybody looks when you make shots. But
I don't know if maybe just last year just has me kind of smiling the whole year, but I feel like we're close.
If we would have made the Final Four last year, I wouldn't even cared about this year. But that we're that close makes me even enjoy this season last almost.
We're really close. Now, whether or not we get there this year or not is one thing. But I guess I did want to ask. I know we've kind of talked about it off air, but do you think we were talking about before we recorded? Do you think this is a problem with what the guys did in the off season? So I know, Tam, you kind of said you might have had a thought about that.
The thing that frustrates me is we saw a couple players in particular. All they did was post them working out and shooting and working on this and that in the offseason. So it made it look like they're really working on their games, but maybe they did. It's just not translating, though.
Yeah, the problem I have with that is something like Travion. It's cool he can shoot threes, but he's not going to be doing that in the game.
I was talking about no jail with a jump.
I know, that too. But I remember, Travion posting workout videos of it was a couple minutes, which I love Travion. I think he's a great offensive player, but he was shooting 20 footers. That's not going to be what.
Hey, shot it against Minnesota. I about died when he shot that 3.
I was in the car listening to that game for 2 hours.
I'm not talking about the half court at the end of regulation. Nobody was open, so that was fine. He spot up and shot one from top of the key during the second half.
Yeah,
I thought Painter was going to fall over.
Yeah, so it's one of those where
really
he can do it, but
was it that bad?
It hit rim, but it was bad.
Yeah, I still think that's just not his spot. It's kind of like where, when you look at Hammonds, Hammonds was given, only a certain amount. It's because he'd proven he can make them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was it's I feel like Painter. Do you think Harms? Do you think Harms has I think I don't know. We always joked about it. Or my dad and I always joked about like Calashan from years back was like he got like 2 a game. He's like, you got 2 threes a game, and like that's it. Like
So
you get one
with Chalice. I think if he didn't have that limit, he would just chuck it regardless. I think Harm's a bit more heady of a player.
Okay,
he
so you don't think Harms is on like
and
a shot
was the number
count?
2 ranked JUCO college player.
Oh, I know. And I mean, he did okay, but I mean, I feel like
he was a shooter. So, but but I get what you're saying. It seems like Harms has more of a green light, though. It's like he shoots 4 or 5 a game.
I think he's a pretty smart player. He knows
he doesn't shoot 4 or 5 a game,
maybe 3.
Yeah,
I would say like 1.5.
I don't mind him shooting, just not the first shot of the game.
Probably,
he was just not shooting the first shot of the game. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if it was like the guys just weren't working on what. I don't know. On the complete games. I know, like even Painter even mentioned in another interview of, he says, when again it could be just old man get off my lawn, but because when he was growing up, like a lot of the guys, they just played games. Like that's how you learned angles and all that stuff. And nowadays, all these guys are doing is they're getting personal trainers, which is cool. And you're getting to work, but you're not getting legit reps against live competition and game setting.
Yeah, a little different going around a chair than being guarded by somebody that moves.
Yeah, and that has arms and can strip the ball from you. So you're wondering, it's just a different different type of approach nowadays. So I don't know, but hopefully this kind of lights a fire under their butts. But if it doesn't, if it does or it's not going to, it's just kind of it is what it is at this point. And either hopefully fight to the end of the year, or it's gonna be a long January, February.
Give me more gray hair.
I trust Painter, and
I do too. Yeah.
I think
the second half of the season. I think there'll definitely be some. I think there'll be improvement just because I trust Painter in the offense, and I mean they always talk about with the motion offense, it takes some guys, so maybe it kind of clicks a little bit with Isaiah Thompson a little more, and he's kind of takes over a little bit and runs the offense a little better.
That was a question I wanted to ask, because I've seen it again. People talking about it. Do you think Thompson takes some of No Gel's minutes at point guard? I think some people say just get rid of No Gel because he's a liability in offense.
I don't think Isaiah's strong enough.
No,
I don't either. No. But I don't think you can take No Gel off because of how much he adds on defense and rebounding.
People are like, well, he can't play offense. So
I think that's the reason they don't put him at forward, is because even Proctor against pressure, nobody else is strong enough right now. It doesn't seem like, and even though he's out of control when he drives a lot of times, No Gel, but
he needs. I mean, he's such a good athlete and he's so long. I mean, I'd rather him go 3 for 10. Driving into the lane than 0 for 1. I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
And do you?
Because he's going to have games where he'll make those. He'll get fouled. I mean, maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs to go get fouled and go 4 for 5 in a game.
That's exactly what he needs. I think that's why he doesn't drive that much, because he doesn't want to shoot free throws.
He needs to get a game where he just
frustrating.
Yeah. No, I hate the fact I'm bringing this up just because it's a topic that's just been driving me nuts all year. But just because it's interesting now, kind of hindsight 2020. Do you think Painter regrets redshirting one of the two guys?
No.
I don't think so either.
Because he would have pulled it by now.
Really? You think he would have?
Yeah. Maybe not in Big Ten play. He would have pulled it sometime in non-con, I believe, because, he leaves it up to those guys. He lets them and their families decide if they want a redshirt, and they all thought it was in their best case. He doesn't want to have another Ryan Smith situation, which he barely played as a freshman.
So can you imagine if we had Ryan Klein right now?
Yeah.
Richard, that would be.
But we wouldn't have won a few games his freshman year. He bailed us out at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I think another one. So,
yeah,
those are always tough calls, but he's doing it for a reason. So,
yeah, it sounds like Newman was lost like a lot, like in the scrimmage. So it's like.
I'm still afraid Gillis might hurt his knee if he would have played.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess you just got to trust the, 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, what it was the classic Aaron Rodgers. Relax.
Yeah. Yep.
Do not bring his name on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Andrew's pretty much like a converted Packer fan in a way. So.
Yeah, as he was already asking me, like, what are we gonna do Sunday for the Packers game, Webby? I mean, what are you doing for the Packer game, Webby?
I'll be at the Purdue game.
Yeah.
We just got a notification that Chicago 2020 cornerback Shao Smith is going to visit Purdue.
Yeah, I think he's committed to like Wyoming or something right now, but Purdue offered him early mid-December, and then he didn't sign during the.
I remember reading about him now. You say that,
yeah.
They also have a grad transfer from Colorado State.
Yeah, an offensive lineman. Yeah,
he's a big boy. So I don't remember.
And then there's a 4-star corner who may visit. They said later in January. So yeah, I mean, they're gonna fill the last few spots in their recruiting class, and that'd be nice if we throw a couple 4-stars in there and Hornsby in a cornerback. That'd be sweet.
I don't think we mentioned this back on the podcast last month. Cornell Jones transferred, and he's going to Florida State. So interesting landing spot.
That was very surprising for me.
Yep.
I was surprised that he transferred.
I think it was all the Holt and new staff. Well, it's only one new staff, so I don't really know his reasoning. He said it was changing on defense. So
yeah,
he was a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I wonder if he was kind of in Brahm's doghouse the last couple of years. I mean, wasn't it Brahm's first year when he got a bunch of personal fouls that cost him? There were 2 games. I don't think he played. I think it was better last year. I think it was 2 years ago. There was a couple where I thought I remember a couple 2 years ago, not as much this year.
Okay. Yeah, but you're right. He did.
So that's where I wonder if there was.
We'll have plenty more recruiting news, I'm sure, next week as things start coming in. Sheldon Coleman said he's ready for the Diaco-isms to be added to the boiler breakdown intro.
Absolutely.
Like we said earlier, just go type him in on YouTube. He's a different cat. He's a different dude, that's for sure. But
pretty excited.
There was a rumor going around. I think, Evan, you were the one that brought it up in our group chat that Nick Holt is rumored to become the next defensive line coach at Minnesota.
Oh
yeah, I don't like that rumor.
I don't want him to be up there being a boat boy. Given PJ inside intel after coming off 11-win season.
I don't know. I like Nick Holt a lot, so I would hate to see him there.
Would you rather see him there or Nebraska?
Nebraska in a heartbeat.
I don't know.
I don't like Scott Frost, and I think you guys are more bitter because they got so much like preseason. Like, oh man, these guys are going to be so good. Preseason top 20, and
that's a lot.
I just can't not stand PJ Fleck as a person, or as a coach, as everything.
Win season, yeah. Hopefully Purdue can beat both of them next year on the road. That'd be great. So, I think I'm out of topics to discuss. Unless you guys got anything else.
Just win. Let's just make layups. Can we just make that?
Make layups. Can we start there?
Yeah.
Make layups, then make free throws.
Gotta crawl and walk.
And
let's hope no Joe goes like 6 of 7 from the free throw line this week.
Give me a reason to watch the whole game and not turn it off early for the third time this year.
That's a 6:30 game.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was 7.
I think it's 6:30 Fox Sports 1. I think they do their games. Don't they do their weeknight games 6:30, 8:30?
I swear I looked and I thought I saw 7.
Both games went final. Maryland 67, Ohio State 55, Rutgers 72, Penn State 61.
Beat a ranked team.
7 o'clock.
Well,
must have been coverage starts.
Maybe. I thought the ad said 6:30.
I mean, they need a half hour to break down Purdue's offense.
Did the same thing for the IU Ohio State game. So it said 11:30. That's
must be a pregame show or something.
Yeah. So because they had during the Illinois Purdue game, they had the Ohio State Indiana thing for 11:30. I was like, that's an interesting start for a Saturday game. But then I realized that's when the pregame starts.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Okay, I got one quick one I wanted to bring up.
Yep.
I think our friend Cameron mentioned after the IU bowl game loss that he put this up there with Purdue's loss in the Elite Eight against Virginia. I would say no, but I don't. But I can kind of see it because
where he's coming from.
Yes, but I don't think winning the whatever January 2nd bowl game. I already forgot who they lost
when you
to.
Haven't won
Tennessee.
a bowl game since
Tennessee,
1991. I mean, I can kind of see where that
and like a 9-win season,
and how for us it's like our next step. Yeah, it was getting to Elite Eight, but that next step is that Elite Final Four that we haven't had since 80s.
I could see it.
You can't compare the achievements really, but like from an emotional standpoint and how they lost and everything. Because in both scenarios, so many things had to go wrong.
Yeah.
And they did.
What would it mean to that for that specific program?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at, Kansas missing out on a Final Four like the way we did is nothing. It'd be it'd be
Michigan State, Tom Izzo,
nothing.
they lose at a buzzer in the Elite Eight.
That program,
Mm-hmm.
defining moment. I can
That's a
definitely
good
see
point,
where that is at.
Yeah.
But man, am I happy Tennessee won.
No, me too.
Couldn't have happened to a worse fan base though.
I was talking to a guy at work that
Tennessee,
is an Indiana alum, and he went to that game. He said if IU would have won, it would have got hostile in the stands because there was already a bunch of fights about to break out between the fan bases. He said actually Indiana fans were starting most of them that he saw. So
I'm surprised there were Indiana fans there. Gonna be totally
they
honest.
sold out of their 8,000 ticket allotment, and then they got 5,000 extra, and I think they sold at least 3 of those. So
I mean, Notre Dame played a couple weeks earlier, so
yep, and in the same state. So yep.
Oh, maybe they can actually sell out a home game next year.
I wouldn't go that far.
Maybe with Geese or something. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. They start on the road at Wisconsin. Taylor jumped pro, and so did Smith, their wide receiver.
Damn shame.
So yep. What Boyle Sports say? Good decision.
Yeah,
great decision.
Couldn't be happy for the kid.
Yep. So that's an opponent I don't enjoy watching Purdue play at all. So, All right. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Just make layups, run, rebound,
layups. Somehow split this week.
Keep,
run, rebound, defend.
Keep no gel aggressive. That's what I want.
And give us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts if that's where you listen to our podcast. We really appreciate that, and it helps us out a lot. Like us on Facebook. If you don't already, follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Boiler Break Pod. And we'll be back next week with the second edition for 2020 of the Boiler Breakdown. Have a great week, everybody. Boiler up, hammer down, beat both Michigan schools.
Boiler up.